Hello, Redlow friends. Welcome back to another episode of Hello, Redlow. I'm your host, Terry Mullen, and I'm so happy you're here. If you are new here, welcome. Redlow is older. I'm older, and perhaps you are too. I show up here each week trying to make a difference in our lives by stepping forward one step at a time, helping us navigate these life transitions, overcome obstacles and things that hold us back, and rediscover who we are now in this season of life with confidence. We are now at 1,000 downloads. Woohoo! It is definitely something to celebrate, and I celebrate you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for listening in. And thank you for telling your friends, and continue to do that if you would, because each download makes a difference. And I want to continue to grow this podcast and help others step forward with their lives. And you can click on the link below in the bio and give me some feedback. You can leave me a message. I'd love to know what you want to hear more of, and if you have a story to share. If you have overcome something difficult in your life, or you're a midlife woman and you've had to start again, I'd love to have you on the podcast. So let me know. And final thing, on February 14th, yes, Valentine's Day, I'm going to do a live Zoom. It's free from 10 to 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can click on the link below in the notes as well and sign up. It's going to be what I call the Redlow Roundtable. We're going to gather around a virtual table on Zoom, and we're going to talk about 3 ways to step forward during difficult midlife transitions and how to love ourselves through it. So bring a warm cup of coffee or tea, invite a friend, and come sit around the Redlow table. I look forward to meeting you. So how do we love ourselves beyond hard things? If you aren't familiar with my book, Step Forward, well, it's about stepping forward. And I use shoes as metaphors to describe those shoes I stepped into to step through and beyond hard things throughout my life, especially midlife. One of those shoes or boots is the Resilient Rainboot. And I believe that being resilient is one of the ways that we can love ourselves through hard things. I have a quote that says, "When life gives you rain, wear cute rain boots and jump in." It's by Unknown, and I love that quote. I love rain. I love the way it sounds. I love the way it smells. I love the cleansing that it brings, and I love the way it makes me feel. Kind of like a little girl again. It makes my heart and soul smile, and more than anything, I get super excited when I see a rainbow, and I think I've shared that on my other podcasts, just the meaning of it all. But I love rain boots too. Wearing rain boots is a metaphor for braving the storm, taking a risk, bouncing back, allowing things to roll off of you, and being a little radical and childlike again. It's playful, and it's all about not taking life so seriously. Well, and I've learned that the hard way. I've always been pretty serious. I've been a high achiever. I've been driven, and I've really tried to learn to be more playful and laugh and not take things so seriously. Have you ever had a moment in your life that seemed really scary? Have you ever felt that tightening in your stomach, but you closed your eyes and you jumped in with both feet and you made a great big splash anyway? If you have, bravo, I'm proud of you. You probably felt like a kid again, unafraid, uninhibited, wild, free. And maybe you jumped off a great big rock or a high dive or out of an airplane. Maybe your jump was something else, like starting a new job or a business, or making a change in a relationship, or moving. And regardless of what it was, you were probably scared. But you jumped in and you did it anyway. I've had those moments too, when I've been afraid and uncertain, and when I've had to pull those Resilient Rain Boots off the shelf, put them on, and jump in and make a great big splash, and not care what anyone else thought. That's self-love. Even at midlife, it can be midlife love. By now, we've all had a lot of life experience if you're older, right? You've walked many paths, and if you're like me, you've walked in a lot of different shoes, and you've learned that life is not a straight path. It's windy. Sometimes it's an uphill climb. It's full of twists and turns and speed bumps and detours and sometimes dead ends. Sometimes we trip along the way and we fall down. And even though I've run several half marathons, I realize that life is not a sprint. It's a journey. It's one step at a time, 1 mile at a time, until we reach that finish line. We all have those moments in our lives, that one decision, that experience, that failure, or maybe a series of them that changes us, right? And we have a choice. It can change us for the better, or it can make us bitter. We can stay stuck in the muck or the mess, or rise up and step forward. And God knows I've been knocked down many times and learned to lace up my shoes and step into those battle boots to overcome those things that tried to keep me down. I know it's painful. It's hard wading through these things, but there's such growth that happens in the process. So how do we find the courage, the tenacity, the faith, and the resilience to step forward? More importantly, how do we love ourselves through it all and step forward and beyond that failed business or job or failed or fractured relationship? Whatever that risk was that you took that failed. In my book, I say that to be resilient is to have an inner resolve to recover from a disruption, failure, or a disappointment in your life. And by quickly pivoting, it means going all in and braving the rough waters that are before you. We can't go around them, we can't go over them, we can't go under them. There's no escaping it. We have to commit and move forward and lean into it and step through it. I've learned that the hard way too. When hard things happen, I have this vision of us being like a little kid where you just want to take the covers and put them over your head. It's like a thunderstorm going on and you just want to hide. That happens to us, but we can't stay there for a long time. I certainly embrace feeling those feelings, wanting to pull the covers over your head and be sad, but don't stay there. I think resilient people pivot and shift rather quickly. They don't stay stuck in that rumination. They move forward and figure out a plan. They get support and look forward. I know for me, when I look back at our lives and when the walls came crashing down, I didn't have time for distractions or gossip or people that didn't support me. I had to put blinders on and stay really focused and just step forward with my life. Martha Beck says that any deep crisis is an opportunity to make your life extraordinary in some way. And when we went through that crisis, I put on those resilient rainboots to brave the stormy weather. The water was rough, it was murky, it was uncertain, it was uncharted, and I had to find my compass and jump in with both feet. I allowed myself to get muddy, to get wet, and to walk through the mess and muck of it all. I was able to let go of a lot of that perfectionism, pleasing others, performing, and looking for approval. I no longer had time to care what other people thought, and going from a mountaintop to a valley is a difficult journey. And although we can't go back to those decisions that we've made that shifted a trajectory in a way of our life, we have to trust that it's meant to happen. As Tony Robbins says, life is happening for you, not to you, and not ruminate and get stuck in that coulda, shoulda, woulda thinking. And I do think that there is some power in looking back on specific moments and allowing it to somewhat be a rudder to guide you forward so you can create a new ending. It's crucial to reflect on where you've been and what you've done so that you can learn from it, but not stay stuck there. And trust me, if you've been through hard things, you know all that doubt, feeling unworthy, feeling small, all that just rises up. And when you go through those difficult times, you tend to concentrate on those failures and the mistakes and your faults. And you become your own worst critic. And that can be so damaging to your mental and emotional health and your personal growth. It's easy sometimes to gloss over and miss the numerous positive things that you've done and accomplished, those things that you've done well. And I mentioned this in my book, but Dan Sullivan, the founder of Strategic Coach, calls this the gap. It's taking a moment to pause and look back at where you started and to look at where you are now. And it includes facing those things that didn't work. But at the same time, this gives you confidence to step forward because it's here you see your strengths, your courage, your tenacity, and your resilience. And it helps you shift your perspective and focus on the positive. Dan Sullivan calls this the gain, and it is really empowering. And it really helped me at times when I really doubted myself. Because when we went through those hard things, I forgot some of the things I did really, really well. And I really had to hold on to that and remind myself who I am, that I'm committed, I'm an awesome mom, I work really hard, I don't give up easily. I'm tenacious. I'm courageous. I'm resilient. I'm empathetic and compassionate. I listen well. And I'm curious. I'm curious about other people's lives. And I want to help others feel really good about themselves and see their potential and all the magnificent gifts that they have and to step forward with their lives. So, what are the takeaways and what are some of the things that you can do to be resilient and love yourself through hard things? Number 1, start right where you are and accept where you are. As hard as it is, facing what is and coming to terms with the truth of it all versus ignoring, repressing, or denying it is so important. It's like saying that serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. Number 2, it's surrounding yourself with other resilient and supportive people and reaching out and getting that support that you need and finding mentors to help you step forward. That means finding a coach, finding a course, reading books on people that have gone before you in this particular area that you're struggling with. I think sometimes we make things so hard on ourselves because we're embarrassed about the failure, and the best thing we can do is step beyond it and realize that we don't have all the answers and reach out and get support. Get people to help you, to lift you up. People who have experienced something similar and can offer tools that help them. And finally, I say dream a little. Maybe this is an opportunity to really step forward and do something that you really want to do or something you've always wanted to do. As scary as it is, maybe it's a great time to pivot and write a book, start a podcast, coach, consult, teach, travel, blog, create a course or a class. There's so many wonderful things that you can do to step forward with your life and to bless others and take that pain that has happened in your life, that failure or that mess, and turn it into a purpose and a message for others. That's what I've done. I've walked in those shoes, and I want to continue to help you do the same. So join me on February 14th via Zoom. You'll meet other women who are in the same place. I'm creating this community here in Hello Redlow to help all of us step forward, to empower us midlife. Know that you are seen, you are heard, you are loved, and you belong. Let's step forward together. God bless.